Sewanee was the last place I thought I'd find myself. I wasn't considering this school until the very end of my application process, and even then, my mom had to convince me to take a second look at this small school in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. I think my initial reservations about coming to Sewanee arose from its similarity to my home. I'm from Little Rock, a fairly small city located in the heart of Arkansas. Sewanee reminds me of Little Rock in a lot of ways. Its idyllic natural scenery, tight-knit community, and a persistent feeling of familiarity with the place. These aspects made me feel claustrophobic at home, so I brought some reservations with me to the mountain and started my college experience thinking that I already knew everything there was to know about a place like this. Having these reservations colored my initial perspective on Sewanee, but of course, looking back on it now, it's hard to imagine myself anywhere but here. Here, I've been able to find my place, my people, and my purpose, in no small part thanks to Bonner. I started my Bonner work at Pelham and South Pitt. I'd had a lot of experience working with kids during high school, so Activate and college counseling felt like a natural progression from something I was already well acquainted with. In retrospect, I know now that I was taking for granted the comfort this sort of work afforded me, and since getting the full benefits of the Bonner program always involves me actively pushing the limits of my comfortability, I was doing good work, but probably not my best work. The same could be said for my academic life. At the time, my efforts and engagement with my schoolwork mirrored my involvement in Bonner. I knew what I was good at, and I stuck to it. Challenging myself in my classes and my work required a more immersive approach that I found by becoming better acquainted with my Sewanee community. Thinking about the last 4 years, one word in particular stands out to me: vulnerability. And it's hard to distill so much time and personal growth into a concise little phrase or word, but if I can put a finger on the most important change I've seen in myself since then, it's that I've learned to really value being vulnerable with others, which I think has taught me to be more honest with myself. My time in Bonner has really helped me develop this skill through the obvious avenues like our reflections and workshops, but also through some subsidiary means like the relationships I've built. I'm able to see my growth towards vulnerability in the way I've handled my academic life and my other involvements. Instead of knowing what I'm good at and sticking to it, over time it became easier to try new things because I was able to be honest enough with myself about my strengths and weaknesses and different challenges I might be open to taking on. More importantly, the honesty aspect comes into play when it comes to knowing myself well enough to recognize when those new challenges are too much or those new things aren't working. In my schoolwork, I realized I wanted to incorporate something I love, literature, into my larger undergrad plans. So I took a risk, added another major, and tried something new. And that worked out. I think it served my self-development in a positive way, and I'm really happy that I did it. Similarly, I realized I wasn't reaching my full potential in my Bonner work, so I took a leap and became a senior intern. This position has allowed me to push my comfortability when I practice public speaking by facilitating workshops or improve my leadership skills through creative problem solving. My point is, over the last couple of years, every challenge I try to take on isn't a perfect win. When I push myself or step outside of my comfort zone, sometimes it doesn't quite work out the way I want, and sometimes I just fall flat on my face. But I think what I appreciate about the whole process is that this increased self-awareness empowers me to be more honest and vulnerable in my relationships, bolder in my ventures as a student and a community member. And this journey has been incredibly rewarding because, in my opinion, the college experience is so much more pivotal when you do more than just know what you're good at and stick to it.